Ours are really much dictated by legal credits. Like, you can't go here with
Yeah, live, and that clock on the wall is about a minute behind. I can't see it. It's a big one. Is it the way? On my watch.
You should taste that with the breakfast. Oh yeah, where you live by there? That's beautiful.
This 5:59 effort. Close enough. All right, stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, just a reminder to silence your cell phones, and I'll start with roll call. Mayor Sherman. Here. Councilor Horton.
Here.
Councilor Clint Cameron.
Here.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Scalise. Councilor Stadlin.
Here.
Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or corrections for the agenda this evening? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting June 9th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Stratton.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Clint Cameron.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman. Yes. That motion passes. Approval of our minutes. Everybody's had a chance to look at our minutes from our last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I move to approve the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of May 12th, 2025.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilor Clint Cameron.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Spavin.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman. Yes. Motion passes. Next we have visitors and delegations. First up, we've got Laura McConnell from the East Morgan County Library District.
Thank you for letting me come today. I won't take up too much of your time. I'm Laura McConnell. I'm the director of the East Morgan County Library District here in Brush. One of our charges as a district is to report to the city just annually to let you know who our board members are for the year. But first I want to say thank you for the donation of $1,000 to the library. We use those to trim the trees in the park. Part of my job as a library director of the district is forestry. So I work closely with Greg Dardanis in town, and we keep those trees trimmed. We have a lot of people using the park, and when there's a storm, he's pretty quick to come over and pick up any branches that fall, because oftentimes when we've had storms, tornadoes or whatever, if other people are out of power, we generally have had power, and so people will come to the library to charge devices, get on the Wi-Fi, find the help they need. So Greg does a really great job of keeping us cleared and ready to open whenever we can. Our board members for this year: Tom Hoffman is our president, Larry Coughlin is our vice president, Andrea Strand is our secretary, Joy Friedhoff is our treasurer, and then our other three members are Ann Archuleta, Allison Miller, and Nancy Kelly. Just some reports from 2024. As of last month, we now have all our repairs from the big hailstorm in 23 complete. We had to replace all our big skylights and both roofs and quite a few windows. So that's all complete finally. And actually, the night we paid the last bill, we had that big storm come through. And I don't want to do this again. We check out more than just books. We check out hotspots for people to use. We check out Cape Pants. We have state park backpacks. This state library provides us with backpacks that have passes to get into the state park. So someone can check out the backpack for a week, and they can get a free pass into a state park. It has binoculars, it has maps, and that's just something free in the library. And we have Wi-Fi that extends out into the park, so we sometimes have people sit out in the park and use our Wi-Fi, use it in the building. We have lots of children's and teens library, teens programs. Our children and teen librarians just finished summer reading promotion, and they interacted with every Brush School student from preschool through 8th grade. And then also they visit with homeschoolers. They have a lot of programs, and they've been busy. They're gearing up for summer reading. They also provide outreach to our local daycare centers. I don't have very many right now, but we provide books to them and see what other resources they might need. Our adult programs have really increased in the last few years. We have a new adult programmer she's just going gangbusters. She's worked a little bit with Lance, and we're trying to find some things for the older adults. So we have some chair yoga that's been really popular for the elderly people, and just some other yoga classes. She's been teaching ASL, American Sign Language. That's a new thing that we just started. We've increased our programming to our Hispanic community, and that's really become popular in the last year. And we also, as we have done for probably 30 years or more, provide book delivery to those who are in assisted living centers. So we deliver books to them and interact with them and see what they might need. We have meeting rooms that people use often, a lot of groups use. One of our big challenges is what to do with our space. If we need to do some readjusting inside, a lot of times with those kids events especially, the activity rooms get a little small. So we'll probably be doing some surveys and over the next year or two, and just maybe some focus groups to see, do we need to change things? What do we need to do? Just to make it, just comfortable for everybody. We partner with over 30 different entities, including the City of Brush. We partner with the Rec Department. They've been great about providing us with swim passes, and then the Brush Rush happens on our park. Usually they're done by the time we get there on a Saturday morning, but we're glad to let them use the park. The Street Department, I will tell you that our summer reading events, when the city crew brings over all their vehicles, that is the most well attended every year. And we actually, in some of my meetings with other directors in the Northeast, I mentioned that we did that, so a lot of the other libraries are starting to do that. But the kids love to climb on the vehicles, and the staff is just great. There's a lot of honking going on, and they get to climb on the vehicles and play with them. They just love that. And then, of course, the police department, they're when we need them. And I love it when they walk through, because they'll just sometimes stop by if they have time. A few of them realized that they had not been in our whole building, and so I was giving them tours of the basement and the dark places where if they ever had to have an emergency to clear the building. And so some of the officers will bring a new officer over and say, hey, can we do that tour? And it's great to have them there interacting with people when we don't necessarily have an emergency. And they're a friendly face as well as a helpful face. So that's pretty much all I have for you, unless you have questions. I know I talk fast, sorry.
Very good.
So thank you. And I included, this is just a highlight of some of our programs for last year. We have to send in an annual report to the state library every March, so that's just a compilation of some of the highlights. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
All right. Then we have time for citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor. Please note that no formal action may be taken on an item that's not on the posted agenda due to the open meetings law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. To better assist you with questions, please submit them in writing to the city clerk, and someone from staff will respond. Is anybody here for citizen comments? Very good. Go ahead and.
If I may.
Yep. Just tell us your name and where you live.
Nick Gordon, 1000 Edison. Just wanted to get some clarification on some city code and ordinances, and then see if the city would get the rest of the code that is not online placed online. There's a fair bit missing. Well, not a fair bit. There's sections that are missing from the code online. And that's pretty much it. I
Okay.
figured it'd be easier just to give you guys the paperwork and let you review it at your convenience than to try and say everything all at once.
I will say we are updating a bunch of our codes. We've been working on it because, it's been a while since we've updated it. So I don't know if we have a report on it tonight, but
I can give a quick report,
on
but
it.
Tyler is not here, and
Yeah.
he's kind of taken a lead on a good portion of it. But I can give a report on what I'm aware of.
Okay.
And then my email's on there. If you guys have any questions or anything from me, feel free. And then Dale has all my contact information. I've been in close contact with him lately, so.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry about the sunglasses. I'm not trying to be cool. I had a brain hemorrhage. The light bothered my eyes.
Okay, nope, I understand. We don't judge. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to management. We've got the golf course advisory board appointments. Lance is gonna update us on that.
Yeah, we finally have updated our golf course advisory board. We've kind of kept the same ones for, gosh, it's been now 9 years, mainly due for us just getting it, and those, our former board members were very strong, and it was they were very good at helping us go forward. We just felt like, we need to get back in with what the code says, and every 2 to 4 years, make the new appointments. And so Erin Gonzalez, she was asked to be on the board and she accepted, and then also Brett Stevens. They're both going to be very valuable to the golf course. They spend a lot of time out there. Erin, of course, is in our ladies league, so she becomes a voice for the ladies that are out there. We're trying to drum up more interest from the female population to be out there. Sometimes it's kind of intimidating to go out there if you don't, and she's the voice, and she's been really giving us some good insight on what would attract more people out there, especially at the beginner level. And then Brett Stevens, he's out there a lot. He plays in all the leagues, and then on top of that, he's also a assistant coach for the high school. So he's a great liaison between the school and the city, and so it's been very beneficial to now have him on there and give us that insight that he brings also. And then with that, Carrie Mobley is our secretary there, and he just actually moved into the Gatto's old house, and he's been a member for years. And then, of course, we have Kirk Lowry from the foundation that's on that board too. So they'll be good for the years to come.
Thank you, Lance. So do we need a motion to approve Brett and Aaron on the board? Does anybody want to make that motion?
I'm going to approve Brett Stevens and Erin Gonzalez as the new appointments on the golf course board.
Second.
Any discussion?
Who was that second?
Roll call vote.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Councilor Horton?
Yes.
Councilor Clint Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Tyree?
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. The Cambridge Street stormwater final settlement will have Dale report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As with any project that we undertake, we wind up taking right around 5% and holding that back in case there's any other issues with, say, contractor not or subcontractor not getting paid or a vendor not getting paid. And in this particular case, we have at this point finished well beyond substantially complete. We completed the project. And with that, we advertised for the final settlement, that 5% that we've held back. We advertised it on the website for 2 weeks. We also had it in the Fort Morgan Times. And as of 6 o'clock today, or 5 o'clock today, I don't believe anybody has submitted to Loranda any outstanding costs or bills or anything like that. And so with that, I'm looking at being able to execute the final settlement with RBE Excavating for that Cambridge Street Stormwater Project. They have satisfactorily completed it. And as a matter of fact, it's been working so well that the last couple of rainstorms we've had, John Gardino, our street foreman, typically he's just in the habit of getting up and running out there just to make sure that there's nothing happening, and he gets there and it's dry. And so it's very much a success. Now, I will granted say that 1,000-year storm event did really change everything up. It messed a lot of this whole project up. Something we didn't predict, something we can't predict. With that, it also changed the timing of getting everything reseeded. It changed We had to do a lot of change orders in order to fix some of the damage that was caused by the storm. But with that, all the same, it still works and it's working great. The seating's taking really nice at this point. And so with that, I'm presenting to council to approve the final settlement in the amount of $100,836.81 to RBE Excavating. We take any questions or comments?
Yards are put back?
Yep.
Yeah, they're driving by there, they look good.
Yeah, they do. They do. So, but again, that was something that we look at, that next time we have a project of this magnitude and potentially with, depending on the time of the season, maybe look at builder's risk insurance, requiring the builder to obtain risk insurance. Of course, that always comes back. We have to pay for it. But this would have been a perfect example of why we should get builder's risk insurance on these types of projects. So,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Anyone want to make a motion on that one?
I move we approve the payment of retainage to RBE Excavating in the amount of $100,836.81.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spavin?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. All right, and then we have a first reading on an ordinance. We're going to have Chief Flex Steiner give us a report on.
Good evening, Council, Madam Mayor. During the recent discussion of the oversized semis being on the side streets and everything, it came to my attention that we had some amendments in the 2003 model traffic code that was not translated over to 2020 when we were adopted. So this ordinance is strictly in an effort to bring those amendments into the 2020. One, to more specifically be able to enforce the oversized vehicles on the side street rather than just going with a generalized fail to abide by a traffic control device. Again, just an effort to bring those back in line with what we had previously, since evidently there was an oversight for bringing them before. So we just ask that an ordinance for the amendment be brought to mind.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I need a counselor to introduce and read this by title.
Move to approve ordinance number
We just got
914-25.
to introduce it this time.
I'd like to introduce ordinance number 914-25, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Brush, Colorado, amending section 8-1-30 of the municipal code regarding the model traffic code amendments.
Okay. So now we need a motion to approve and publish on first reading.
So I do have a question on this. Do I ask the question now or once we
During the discussion.
discussion?
Right,
Make the
during
motion
the-
first?
Yeah.
Approve and publish, you said?
Yep, approve on first reading and publish.
I move to approve and publish on first reading ordinance number 914-25, an ordinance of the City of Council of the City of Brush, Colorado, amending section 8-1-30 of the municipal code regarding the model traffic code amendments.
Second.
Any discussion? Justin?
Yeah, sorry. So I think this got brought up in that discussion online, the 6,000-pound thing. And that's for all of our side streets, correct?
Everything except certain sections, Ray Street, and then Dale and I are also discussing some roadways on the west end of town, because obviously having, at the time it was Dilly Sand and Gravel. They said they had some requirements to have vehicles that size loads, also the hospital, but most of the north to south running side streets in the interior of town.
So that encompasses like every 3/4 ton pickup.
It can,
With a
obviously.
camper, we're over that. So
Correct.
how does,
So I'm gathering more of a case of more of a spirit versus letter of the law. Obviously, our effort is to kind of keep semi-drivers, which has become more of a common issue now. We have people that are driving big semi-trucks, not necessarily loaded with trailers or anything like that, but just their vehicles themselves, rather than getting transportation or parking their vehicle someplace else, they're just parking them at their home and then commuting back and forth from wherever it is in Captain.
so I'm kind of wondering if we shouldn't write this to what we mean, because right now we're doing it in the spirit, but your predecessor or successors later might possibly see that differently. Kind of like some other things that are going on in town right now, it's just getting like enforced like crazy because there's no way around it. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't just draft this to where it excludes commercial vehicles of a certain type, you know, and not
Personal vehicle.
pickups with campers and pickups with flatbed trailers and cargo trailers and that kind of stuff. Because I mean, there's boats that'll put you over this 6,000 pounds. So I don't know what. Call me crazy, but I feel like we should.
But
We're
if
gonna
you're,
pass.
if you're a personal vehicle, then you don't have to have like a DOT commercial number.
My plumbing truck's a personal vehicle. It's technically supposed to have a DOT number on it.
But this is
So, I
just
mean,
talking about a pound, it's not talking about a DOT regulation, it's just
it's
talking
just a
about what the
poundage.
total weight is.
So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Dan?
So I just looked up the weight of my old 3/4 ton truck, and it's 8,800 pounds, which would put me in violation of this. I think this is why you introduced this, so we can have this kind of discussion and we can make changes, but I like both what you said, the commercial aspect, class of vehicle, anything up to, I believe it's a 1 1/4 ton truck is a light duty vehicle in our classification, so maybe do medium or heavy duty vehicles, or we could
So does
Change
the
the weight.
weight, so that 6,000 pounds, does that come from what the asphalt's rated or the infrastructure underneath the road?
I'm the worst engineer in this room, so.
Dale's probably not into that one. Where do you get the 6,000 pounds from, Dale?
Well, all I can say is that's the way it's always been. I hate that phrase, it killed me to say it.
The only reason I ask, I don't want to,
You don't want to damage the streets
Right.
necessarily by changing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's been plenty of vehicles over that 6,000 pound mark that are parked on the streets regularly. I understand what the spirit of this ordinance is, but I feel like we should just pass what we mean. So I don't know if we need to rehash this a little bit.
A little more definition to it.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I'm definitely not in the case that we need to keep it as is because that's how it's always been. I'm perfectly open for communication because I can understand the dilemma it causes if we, enforce nothing over 6,000 pounds and somebody comes across and says, well, my truck is, my neighbor's truck is 7,500, yeah, in the semi, but that's too heavy. Why is that one kind of getting?
It just takes your neighbor calling, saying he's got a 9,000 pound camper and a 7,000 pound truck tied together. And there's really nothing, there's probably something you could do about it, but really you should write a ticket for it, so. Fair enough.
So would you like me to work with the chief to come up with some alternative language to?
Yeah. If you
I
would,
think it
please.
makes sense to differentiate between
Spell it out.
commercial and like private.
What we're actually trying to deter.
And even commercial, I think you gotta be careful encompassing commercial.
And that's right. I think
Simply
part of it
because
would
there's,
be getting hold of maybe some other agencies or other jurisdictions that have something like that passed. Because as I said, I hesitate to get down into the weeds for specificity because
yeah,
you could have any number of people be like, well, I get in trouble for this kind of truck and they get something that's not attached and then,
Sure.
loopholes and that kind of thing. So
maybe we just need to look more at the weight aspect and get it up around that GVW of what those vehicles are capable of and not so much a pickup or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weight problem, not a commercial or whatever, because you don't want on the road, right? Tearing up our roads, that's a big deal. So you can also bust that number up to. There's a big difference between a semi and a dually, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely do some research and revisit this later.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
We have to vote on it.
We have a motion on the table. Yeah. So if we.
You can go, the idea here is to facilitate discussion, so you can go ahead and vote on it. If you guys want to wipe it and start all the way over, and you can just say, no, I don't want to pass this on first reading. If the idea is to have me bring it back, then you think it's just going to be a minor change, you can do that. I can bring back proposed requests.
We'll just vote no,
Yeah,
or if you don't want to.
yeah, let's do a vote, I guess.
Okay, so roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom,
No.
Counselor Tyree,
No.
Counselor Spellman,
No.
Counselor Horton,
No.
Counselor Klinkhammer,
No.
Mayor Sherman. No.
That's our first unanimous no.
Sorry, Chief. Okay, thank you. All right, we have got some awards to present. Fire Chief Urick, I think, and Chief Fleckstein, I want to lead this presentation. And you're welcome to say a few words.
So just starting off, this is stemming from the fatal accident that happened on April 24th of this year. After the incident itself and talking to Chief Urick about some of the things, the impact it had on the community itself, but also two of the people that were highlighted during the incident, Chief Urick felt it was a good opportunity to award one of the participants in it because he did a lot of great things. He did something that was very, very difficult. He did something that he will tell you himself he didn't think he was capable of doing. He persevered, he's done it, he's doing better, and I think the steps and efforts that he did to go above and beyond, I would say, normal cause of duty was something to be commended for. On the other side of it, I would like to highlight a citizen in town that after everything had taken place, and given that 48 hours, some time to get Officer Wells recalled, a specific citizen that stepped up and helped him on scene at the time of the incident. So once that had found out, I think it needs to be stated how important it is for the citizens of Brush to be also commended for stepping up and doing things. We deal with thousands and thousands and thousands of calls for service every year. And I would say it's very uncommon, but it's uncommon for somebody to step up and jump into something like this, especially the type of incident it is. So I want to highlight one of the citizens that came forward and did something. So anything else, I'll let Chief Urick start over with his portion and I'll step back.
So yeah, everybody's familiar with the call, but one individual in particular went above and beyond his duty. So on the early morning of April 24th, our department received a page at about 1:45. That morning, I'm not sure what time PD got paged. Myself, I was en route within 3 minutes. I was on scene within 6 minutes, and by the time I got there, I'm going to turn my back to you guys, not out of disrespect. By the time I got on scene, Officer Wells had removed the mom, removed the 3-year-old, got them onto the bank to hear mom say, my baby, my baby. Without hesitation, Officer Wells was back in that car, getting that 18-month-old unbuckled out of the car, onto the bank, and began CPR by himself until our wonderful bystander showed up to assist him. He guided her in getting the mom and the 3-year-old away to the back of his patrol car and continued CPR until we were there to relieve him. So with that, on behalf of the Brush Fire Department, I want to present you with the Medal of Merit, Officer Wells.
For the next ask, Linda Wolfstetter to step up for me, please. Please. Sorry. On April 24th, 2025, the Brush Police Department Officer Raymond Wells responded to the reports of a welfare check around Colorado on Mill Street. Upon arrival and locating the person who needed help, he came upon a one-vehicle crash that ultimately claimed the life of a young child. Once on scene, Officer Wells began doing everything he could to assist those involved in the crash, which included medical needs, grading traffic for those also responding, deciding what other assistance that is needed, and managing his own stress. After hearing the calls for help, you left your home to attempt to locate the person in need, all at the early morning hours when most everyone else was sleeping. You came upon Officer Wells performing life-saving measures. Knowing that he was already overtasked with the current situation, you assisted Officer Wells by taking care of the young child that was in the crash but not injured. These actions were not a requirement and something many others would have moved on from knowing law enforcement was on scene. I can tell you being a solo officer on a high-stress call is not only stressful but very overwhelming. Periods when you want and likely need help, but there isn't someone there for you for some time. Your mind and body are running in a million directions, trying to do all that you can in a short period of time. Ms. Wolfstetter arrived at that time when Officer Wells needed someone to help him so that he could focus his attention where it was needed the most. You showed amazing care and compassion to someone you didn't know and were there to assist my officer in his time of need. It can't be overstated the appreciation I have as an officer, chief, and as a citizen of Brush, knowing there are people in my community who will take this action in assisting those in need, be that a child, a person, or an officer who is dealing with an event that will never be forgotten. This letter of recognition is on behalf of the Brush Police Department, Officer Wells, myself, and all others that were impacted by your actions, no matter how small. Just a few final words. I think these two incidents itself show highlights a law enforcement officer and not taking away from the ambulance, fire department, anybody else, but law enforcement and a citizen. I mean, it's uncommon for us to see somebody step up and do something like that. It's usually in a situation the person sees what's going on and they drive by without saying anything. So I think it just speaks to the quality of people that we have in Brush and the efforts and willingness they are to help one of us that's in need or being there, especially at the time of day that it took place.
Thank you. I'd say more, but I'll cry. But yes, you guys are amazing, and thank you for everything, and thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate that.
I want to thank everybody, everyone that showed up, everyone that was there. Like I said, there's nothing that I can say or do to bring Willa back, but I know that what I did was everything I could. I know as soon as I saw Tyler, when I saw Chief, when I saw individuals from the fire department showing up, like it was, I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, everything else, and I remember Miss Linda coming around the corner, and I remember looking at her in her eyes, and I know exactly what she said to me when she knew the situation I was in, and everyone must have run away at that moment, but she listened to everything I said, and she went directly into just savior mode of Mom and Ollie. So everyone here, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to take my girls and my wife out to dinner, and we're going to get out of here for a little bit. So I appreciate everyone. Ray, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Like you said about everyone.
Thank you. All right. Next we have finance. We've got two different weeks to approve. We can put them all in the same one unless somebody sees something that needs attention.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for May 13th, 2025 through May 26th, 2025, totaling $766,408.80. I also move we approve disbursements and payroll for May 27th, 2025 through June 9th, 2025, totaling $681,672.14. And no, I will not do the math on that.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Tybee?
Yes.
Counselor Clint-Cameron?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We'll move on to staff reports. Chief Flecksteiner.
Not a huge amount of stuff to report on. We are at everybody at FTO. All the 3 officers that were in training are now officially out on their own, which was great timing because we just happened to get the new 2 vehicles in, and they are both out and about. So that brings us essentially up to, we have a vehicle for everybody. We don't have to share cars again right now. We do have 1 car that we're going to be decommissioning because it's on its last legs for sure. I attended the CAP, or the Chiefs of Police Association conference this last week. Learned some good things, specifically around succession planning and how I should probably start bringing some of our current staff up to hopefully take my place in the next few years. So we'll start that. I also want to highlight there was a pretty decent and lengthy section about natural medicine. And it's more widespread than initially thought, but it's nothing in our area. Primarily, it's been stuck to the Front Range and the metro area. The only thing in our region that's relatively close is it looked like Sedgwick County area looked like they're looking at an application for a cultivation facility. So, another couple of things to highlight on. I took part in a podcast called Words of the Wise. For a company out of Arizona. She does a lot of wellness-related items. So she asked me to be a part of a podcast where she just talks to a chief about wellness. I just explained to her kind of my passion about how I've kind of been pushing very heavily towards my staff to kind of focus on all the different wellnesses that they have, be that physical, mental, financial, to do some things. She had me on podcast. I don't know how well it really looks because I'm not used to talking to a camera, so I'm looking at the screen the whole time. So if anybody's interested, once that goes live, it's supposed to be on Spotify and any other thing. So if anybody's interested, I'll be willing to shoot that link out and give me some good criticisms, or positive, hopefully.
They have a comment section, Chief, you'll do.
Oh, yeah, no. I try not to delve too much in the comments as much as I can. Taking off that side note, so we got the app called the Cortical app from Lexipol. It's a conglomeration of wellness-related items for us, so that's been in play now for a few months, and I just looked at the analytics, and apparently they shoot for a 25% adoption rate, and we're at 186% adoption rate. I don't know where they get the number from, but it seemed high and kind of important to me, so it seems like everybody in my agency has taken part in a little bit. The 3 highest areas of interaction is emotional and mental wellness, financial wellness, and then physical fitness. So actually, the fact that the emotional and the mental wellness was the highest one was the most prominent and important one for me because I thought it was one of the ones that needed to be hit on the most. So obviously, I'm glad to say that I kind of had a good instinct that this is a resource that my officers and my staff needed. So, and based on just the numbers of what it is, it seems like they're interacting with the things that I thought they would. So. Other than that, everybody's been really busy. Having more officers and staff means everybody's doing more. There's been, fortunately, more arrests because of just different things that have been taking place. But with that, I welcome any questions, comments, concerns that maybe popped up.
Yes, I missed it. Natural medicine, was that like a pop shop? Is that a word?
That is the magic mushrooms.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. That's right.
You remember that?
I do not.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Chief. Our Chief here.
Just a couple things to pass on. So Fire One Academy was completed. Everybody passed the state practical. We'll take our written test on Wednesday. And we're in the middle of our hazmat class with the state practical the night of July 1st, and then the written test at the end of July. We had a significant call on Friday. I don't know how many of you were aware of it. We had Highway 6 and Highway 34 shut down from about 1:30 till about 8:30 Friday night. We had a ethanol tanker that caught on fire. It was fully loaded with 9,500 pounds. Very quick response from our guys. We were able to get it cool and knocked down before the tank ruptured. and we actually got it knocked out before we had any leaking from the tank. But hazmat, Colorado State Patrol hazmat had to unload the tanker into another one. So fortunate for us, we didn't have a significant levy of the tank.
Yeah.
Again, Officer Wells was the PD officer on scene. He assisted the sheriff's office because they were all in Morgan. Was instrumental in evacuating that little subdivision right there at the intersection and got them all out until we had the scene mitigated, and then it caught the grass on fire next to it and was running towards the houses. So we kind of had a couple of things going on, but it was mitigated. So good job to our guys.
Good.
With that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Community Service, Lynch Schwint.
Thank you, Mayor. Just kind of give you an update on everything that's kind of going on in community services realm. First of all, Prairie Trails Park. Anybody's been out there, Dirty Pond is full now, and so that's great. I talked to the Division of Wildlife, and they are going to be restocking it. They just haven't really given me a timeline on when they're going to restock it, but it should be soon. With that being said, Coos Well will be out there tomorrow to finalize the pump, and then we will set our pump house, and hopefully, barring that the irrigation system is working well, we will start planting seed within the next week or two. Once we get done planting seed, Dale's crew will be putting our potable water line in, and we will also building backstops and fencing for the ball field. So that is moving along pretty quick right now. So that's good news. Questions about Prairie Trails Park at this point? As far as active older adults, we've talked about this before, but our committee meets the first Friday of each month, and then we have our meet and greet the last Friday of the month. This past Friday, we had Jim Price, who was here for the awards ceremony. She talked about frauds and scams. It wasn't as well attended as the prior 3 or 4, but I just think a lot of that's just because it's summertime. But it still was a good turnout, and it was a really good presentation that Officer Price did. This at the end of June, we will have the John Cook with the fair and Joanne Gosnick with the rodeo, talking about the upcoming events with those two activities. Plus, I think Laura McConnell mentioned it, we will have a demonstration with the chair, I call her the chair yoga lady. So they all sit there and do chair yoga, and hopefully I'll bring a camera because that's pretty funny to watch. So anyway, that'll be good. We set another gambling trip too for July 19th to Blackhawk. That's $30, and they can start registering at the rec department. We ended up with like 35 people, I believe, is what Verna told me at the last one. So we're hoping to get that even more numbers this next time. With the museum, we held our history camp this past Friday and Saturday. It was poorly attended compared to the last few that we've had. Don't know what the reason is. I know we kind of did the same thing as far as advertising. I don't know if it was just busy or what, but we did have the history camp, and all the volunteers do a great job. Speaking of that, we've been meeting with Steve Rohde over the last several months about the future of the museum, and eventually we'd like to sit down with City Council at a work session and just talk about what's going to happen with that facility and with the museum itself. So we'll be coming to you here probably in the next few weeks with that. The swimming pool. The swimming lessons have started. It's going pretty well. It hasn't been quite as busy just because of the weather. But with that being said, we did have our initial meeting with the swim community that's been big in Rush about the possibility of a new swimming pool, or what we're going to do with this swimming pool in the upcoming years. It was discussed that this is nothing that's going to happen this year or next year, but we've got to be prepared when that pool does fail. I mean, it's built in 1965, which was built into a pool that was from 1935. So it's only a matter of time. We still think we have some good life in it, but we want to get ahead of the game and start having those discussions now. We do plan on having another meeting Friday, June 27th at the golf course. We're going to try to invite another community that just kind of went through this process to give us kind of a heads up on what they went through and all that sort of thing. So we are looking at that right now. Recreation this weekend, we'll be hosting the 22nd annual Summer Sizzler Baseball Tournament, June 13th to the 15th. We have 16 teams that will be coming into town. 2 weeks later, we'll be hosting the Beat Digger Battle, and we have 18 teams from June 27th to the 29th coming into town. And we're also doing our adult softball. We talked a little bit about the Brush Rush. It's the 43rd annual, and that's going to be held June 28th at the library. And Parks and Rec Week will be this year, July 7th through the 12th, and there's a bunch of activities that go along with that. The mayor and I have listened to a couple webinars, and we think we're in the running for a $50,000 grant for a outdoor fitness area. So we're having another meeting next Monday that's supposed to give us yay or nay on that. Of course, there are some strings attached. We have to find other funding and all that sort of thing. So we have told the NFS, which is through UC Health, that if we accept it, then we'll go out and start trying to raise that money or ask the foundation or stuff like that. So it really won't come out of city coffers. It will be something that we try to get donations from, like I said, the foundation or from just various outlets. So the other thing is I'll be attending a GOCO meeting next week in Erie, just to talk about possible funding for the next phase of Prairie Trails Park. So our plan is to hopefully apply for that and get funding for the next phase. Cemetery, we did pour 2 additional long foundations this year. We started running out of space, and so Miranda and the crews discussed the need for more plots available for the public. And we have created a new area that we can be able to bury some buried cremains, which we haven't got all that finalized yet. But it will allow people to actually put a headstone with their cremains instead of just using the columbarium with the small compartments. Gosh, I don't want to bore you, but as far as the golf course goes, it's in great shape. We have leagues going on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the men, Wednesdays for the women. We are also having 9 and Dine once a month for couples at the end of the month. With that, we usually try to get some entertainment that we try to put on the deck, barring weather. This past 9 and Dine that we had had Greg Mullen performing, and he was actually inside the banquet room. So that's going well. We held our member guest tournament this past weekend. We had 40 players, and the cafe and lounge, it just continues to be a struggle. It's hard to maintain our staff with our hour limitations. Being a facility that's open 6 days a week from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and only allow 30 hours a week is just difficult. So we're working through that, but we're being creative and we're trying to do the best we can with that situation. Speaking of the foundation, again, the rec department wouldn't be where it's at without the Joslyn Needham and the Jack Pettis Foundation. They've donated money to our sports programs with baseball, softball, and basketball. That helps us keep our fees down for all the kids. We've ordered our fairway mower. It's a $98,000 mower. That should be in November. The foundation paid 100% of that cost. So again, that helps us immensely with the golf course. And then we will be replacing the kitchen floor in the fall. We were going to do it in February and March, but the weather was so good that it was hard. People were already golfing, so we thought we'd push it back until the fall. So we'll be putting the new kitchen floor in the late fall. And then if you go out there, we poured a lot of concrete that the foundation paid for. around the cart barn, not the cart barns, but the pro shop, and then also a maintenance shed. And it looks really sharp. So things are going well. Really busy in the middle of summer. So from there, is there any questions about the
Thank you, Lance. Director of Public Works, Dale Klovic, you were up.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm not going to be quite as extensive as Lance, but
Time will tell.
just real quick, we did get, as far as projects go downtown, we have the festoon lighting, we got our poles put in. And so we're going to try and get some sand in and around those poles after the concrete, now that the concrete's set up pretty good. And so that looks like they will be in probably later, I want to say this week, to string the festoon lighting up, but I don't know when it's going to be lit up. And then also Patrick's looking at getting the pavers company to come down and start looking over everything and get our pavers reset as well. So it spruce up the downtown quite a bit. We were very fortunate in that we were able to obtain this money from CDOT. It was a CDOT downtown, I believe, grant that we got to do these. And with that, I just got back from the Upper Front Range Transportation Planning Region Council meeting. And the state, with their budget difficulties that they've had, they've clawed back a lot of the downtown monies. And so using that to help fill some of the shortfalls within the state budget. So we just barely eked across the finish line with this. So that's going to be, you're going to start seeing that activity here pretty quick. The next thing I have will be the solid waste department. I think that you should have had a report in your packet talking a little bit about, I know I sometimes get questioned, how was spring cleanup going? We had right around 39 mattresses, and we had 33 tires, and we also had 14 flat screen TVs and 5 of the older tube type CRT, less than 32-inch TVs. All those costs was covered by the customer itself, because that's hard dollars cost we get out of our pocket when we have to take those to the landfill. However, we were able to take them off their hands and get them to the landfill. Also, as far as the other cleanup, street crew goes around and they pick up very large items that the trash trucks cannot take, in which case we had right around 5.9 tons. And then throughout the week, compactor trucks picked up a lot of different waste. It was quite a bit more than it was in the past. I think if you see on your breakdown that on the overall, as compared to a couple of weeks beforehand, as compared to what we brought in from spring cleanup, we paid additional $2,177 in tipping fees above and beyond what we would normally have typically picked up. So it was pretty successful. Trash crew said it was successful. They said it was very, very heavy, and so that's kind of the report on the spring cleanup. This time I'll call it spring cleanup, not spring break. Any questions, comments?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Finance, Chris Bustron.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just one item of information for you all. The audit is underway for our 2024 calendar year. Auditors will be in-house all this week, so we look forward to a very successful audit again. So, any questions for me at this point? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk Loranda.
I don't have any reminders for you tonight, but I do want to report that we have received one new liquor license from Maverick Gas Station that's going in north of the interstate. And so we'll be working on getting notices out for the liquor hearing on that as soon as we know better after tomorrow's court date what timing that will look like in July, hopefully. And then I was trying to review through Mr. Gordon's letter while sitting up here. And I think what I should do is address this after the meeting or at a time when I've had a chance to look back through emails, and because you've mentioned a couple Quora requests in here, so I want to make sure I have my information correct before I talk with you on that. And then that's it.
Thank you. Dan Crum.
I don't.
Oh, wait, Kim, sorry, I missed you. I don't have my glasses on.
You're fine. I'm going to be shorter than the walk.
Okay.
I just have a quick update on staffing. As Lance kind of pointed to, our main thing right now is cook, part-time waitress. This can be flexible. We're also looking for one grounds person at the golf course. And then we have it posted for administration technician 2, which is our utilities clerk and payroll clerk combined, as Deanna is resigning. Time to retire, she said. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, Tank.
I don't have anything for you unless you guys have questions.
No. Thank you. All right, on to Dolores.
Just a couple items. One in regards to the city code. Tyler, he's on vacation right now, but he was planning on this meeting to do a presentation, kind of go over all the different city codes that we're looking at, because there's quite a few. But because of his vacation, we just said let's push it to the next council meeting. And he had mentioned that in the past, he had kind of mentioned that to the council before, that he's got a lot of codes, things like that he's looking at. The codes, they range from the administrative section of the city code, some from the city clerk's office. We also have public works, utilities. They have some adjustments as well. With Mr. Gordon's letter, there might be some others that we consider there as well. Community development, the building department, they've got quite a few. So collectively, we thought that it's best, instead of just stringing this out forever, bring in batches of them at a time and try and knock those out. So the next meeting at work session, he should go in more detail on the majority of those. And some Dan's already been working on, or has got those drafted up, but we just wanted to pull those into a larger group of those. And then probably in the fall, there'll be another group of those, and then we'll just start, the ones that we need to catch up on, they'll be here and there, but we're going to keep working on those. Also, with CML coming up in 2 weeks, I think it is, about 2 weeks. Always remember that with CML, once we come back, city council members typically kind of report on what they learned, what they saw, what they did. And then also shortly after that is when we do our council retreat. And the council retreat is when we get together and we talk about the direction that we want the city to go for the next year or two. And in discussing that piece of it, if you get a chance, go to our city website, go to the city council section, and you can just click on the priorities, city council priorities. And even tonight, there's about 4 different council priorities that were discussed. Active older adults and the next phase for the ball fields, things like that. Cambridge Street was one of those that we had there. So we're taking care of a lot of those priorities, and I'm going to say at my quick glance at those before the meeting, when I was being antisocial, I was taking a real quick glance at where we were at, and I'd say we're about 80% through, or well on our way on about 80% of the priorities. And there's 1 or 2 that we may not get to simply because other situations have changed, so they probably aren't going to be done. But at that retreat, we'll go over those, and we'll start planning for the next year or two. That's all I have.
Thank you, Monty. Mayor, council reports. Do any councilors have anything to report on?
How many of us are going to the CML? How many councilors?
Let's see, quick count. 2, 3, 4. Plus the mayor, 5. Oh. And then 3 or 4 staff. 2 Flex Diners going to go this year. Chan's going to go, Tyler, Monty. So, pretty big group.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so on that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn, so we can move into our work session.
Will we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Hey, Lance.
Did Sherry get ahold of you? I also think that we'll have to see if the state will see it. I don't know what the report
That needs to be a rule, yeah. It's unwritten.
Well, we have to keep your house.